I'm Judy Young, CEO of College Excellence, and I'm a college admissions consultant. Today, we'll be giving you tips and tricks on applying to college successfully. What actually makes an application feel authentic to an admissions reader instead of seeming over-polished? Authenticity and coming across as very genuine is something admissions officers feel immediately. And I think if you read these applications, you would sense it too. Authentic applications are going to include specific personal details that only you could tell because they want to know your story. And it really is important for you to reflect rather than just trying to use big words and impressive language. They want to know, what are you thinking? How did this affect you? And only you can tell that story. The student's voice should sound consistent across the application. I mean, they can tell if suddenly, and I've had people do this, you can tell if they switched and somebody else is writing a piece of their application because it doesn't sound like them anymore. So being consistent is really important. And generic essays and cliches really hurt the trust that you establish in the application. So be yourself, be sincere, of course, make sure it's grammatically correct, but it is very important that it be in your voice and that you tell your own story. Real clarity always stands out more than perfect wording. So just remember that. Very, very important. Be yourself so that your story shines through in the application process. How early is too early to start your college planning? And how late is too late? College planning is really about being aware, not being under the pressure of having to get those essays done. Planning early does help to alleviate some of that stress, and it also helps you make better choices so that you can align what it is you're doing with what you think you're going to be interested in. Planning should evolve naturally by grade level, so you're doing a little bit more and building every year on what you've already done. There's no need to rush decisions in middle school, but you can get started with thinking about what you're interested in and maybe testing the waters, seeing what aligns with what you're interested in. And it's rarely too late to improve your position. I mean, starting earlier is better so you have more time, but it isn't too late to improve your position no matter where you're starting in the process. The right timing builds confidence and helps you to lessen the stress of the process. What signals let admissions officers know that a student is guessing at their major instead of being really prepared for it and having thought through it carefully? Admissions officers can tell when the interest is really on a surface level and the person hasn't really thought more deeply about what they're interested in. So, of course, as we've talked about before, coursework should align with what you're saying you're interested in. And that's just logical, right? That you would be taking courses that would strengthen your position in whatever you're saying you want to study later. Activities as well ought to support that academic direction that you're saying is important to you. And depth, so important. That matters far more than exploring tons and tons of different extracurriculars or courses at the last minute. So being thoughtful and consistent through the process is very important to make sure it's coherent and cohesive. And vague explanations, really make you seem not credible. So the more that you're really aware and you've checked out the things that you want and you understand your path, the more sincere it will be and how it will come across. How much do the choices that you make in freshman and sophomore year really matter by senior year? Those early choices do matter, but the way that you grow over time, over those 4 years, matters even more than those early choices. Early years set academic and activity foundations. You're building on the courses that you took early on, and you might be expanding the responsibility that you have in the activities that you've chosen. Colleges look closely at what sort of progress and improvement you're making, both academically and in terms of your extracurriculars. And upward trends are viewed positively. That's very important. The maturity and reflection that you demonstrate through your academics and through your extracurricular choices really strengthen the story that you're trying to tell to get into college. Admissions officers value growth. It doesn't need to be perfect. Do you need help? Give us a call, 713-333-9359, or you can email us, jyoung@collegeexcellence.com.